Hey guys, uh, finally getting around to doing an upload. Yeah, it's been a few days. I know that I said I'd do it every other day or whatever, but you know, sometimes life intervenes. I got a new job, so I'm gonna be starting out doing all that stuff and adulting, which kind of sucks, but hey, that's just life, you know. I got several things I kind of want to talk about today. The biggest thing I want to talk about, the whole fallout with Marvel and Sony, and that man had blown up social media like crazy. It has been just, people are just like losing their freaking minds, and without reason, to be honest with you. I've watched several videos and several people have talked about how much this sucks, and yes, it does suck. It sucks a lot. You know, let me adjust just a little bit. Yeah, it does suck because, but one thing we've gone through a whole story arc with Spider-Man in the MCU, with starting with Captain America: Civil War and gone all the way through Endgame. You know, yeah, I cringe at the thought that Sony was the people that put out Spider-Man 3. My God, that is a steaming turd of a movie. Oh, I hate that. I hate the way they did Venom, and it pisses me off to no end. And I don't even want to acknowledge that. But for the most part, the Sam Raimi movies were good. They were okay. Except that nowadays I kind of look at the Spider-Man movie, you know, it almost like an emo Spider-Man. You know, I get that, you know, the character was all, you know, broken up about the death of his Uncle Ben and all that stuff. And yes, it's a necessary part of the story, and it is. But yeah, but the Amazing Spider-Man, man, not so much. I like the movie, but I just don't think James Garfield was a good fit for it. He didn't fit the character. Not to say he did a bad job. I'm just saying I don't think he was right for the part. I like that movie. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, man, not so much, you know. It's like, I've watched it maybe once or twice. I've seen it come on Fox a couple times, and if it's on, you know, toward the end of it, maybe I'll watch it. But, you know, for the most part, no, it's it. I don't watch it. Yeah, a friend of mine, as soon as that news broke, texted me, you know, said, oh man, they're going to go back to making sucky Spider-Man movies now. I don't know. It's all up in the air, you know, and people are so upset about it. You know, they're talking about storming Sony headquarters. You know, why? It's like the whole nonsense, the storming Area 51 thing. I'm not even going to go there. Excuse me. The problem is that this character was on loan from Sony to Disney, Marvel Studios, and they made a deal where it would be just a few pictures, you know, just a few movies. And now that that deal is over with, you know, yeah, hey, it's time to come home, kid. Just like some kid that's been over the neighbor's house playing at dinner time. Hey, it's time to come home. Come on, let's go. Could be a money grab, as far as I'm concerned. That's probably what it is. It's probably they're like, hey, you know, multi-billion dollars we're ready for. We want a cut. We want a bigger cut, you know. Money talks, people. That's just that, I guess. I really hope that this doesn't lead to Tom Holland leaving the part. Because I liked Tom Holland in Spider-Man. I thought he did really well. He did a really good job. I thought he brought a little bit of that goofy, awkward side to him that was all part of who he is, and personally, I relate to that. I really do. But it remains to be seen what happens with this whole thing. So I don't know. It's a mess. But hey, it is what it is, and going forward, they're going to that. I'm sure they have some good movies lined up, and you know, we'll just have to see. A couple other things I want to talk about. Tomorrow, probably most likely tonight at midnight, Netflix will release the third season of 13 Reasons Why. A lot of you may not be fans of that show. Pretty sure most of the people I know, they're on the fence about it. You know, I'm kind of on the fence about it myself because, you know, the main bulk of the story was about the girl that, you know, committed suicide in the first season. If you haven't seen it, you know, from here on out, it's going to be spoilers. You might skip ahead. I don't know. Yeah, the whole plot outline of excuse me, was Hannah Baker, the girl that the show's about. Kind of, it's like her total, I guess I can say, just downward spiral of the events that led to her suicide. Eventually, she leaves like 13 tapes. You know, the 13 reasons why she killed herself, and yeah, it was kind of heavy. I thought it was well done. I thought, you know, just a Ting Angus type of thing. Is that the word for it? The drama. Excuse me. The character I think I related most to was Clay. You know, and he was the guy that was in love with Hannah, and he was like, you know, full of anger, full of, you know, and awkwardness and doubt and all that stuff. And through high school, that was me. That was, of course, I wasn't psycho like that guy is. If you haven't seen the show, you just go ahead and check it out, you know, see what I mean. But I think it's going to be cool. But the whole thing that caught my attention about watching this show is they are talking about the character of Bryce Walker. And if you're not familiar with who that is the antagonist of the show. He was one of the main reasons, if not the main reasons, that girl Hannah wound up committing suicide. You know, and spoiler, yeah, there was a particular scene in the first season that talked about what happened to her, and what happened was, again, spoiler, she was raped by this guy Bryce, and when she went to talk about it to like I don't know if it was a counselor or somebody like that, she went to talk about it and report it, and the guy basically told her, hey, you know what, this guy's like a star, I don't remember, I think he was a football player, yeah. He was a jock, you know, but yeah, he's like the star of this team, you know, and you can forget about it, you know, you might as well forget about it, and then that just makes her feel like complete shit, you know, and which it would with anybody, you know, but yeah, that was horrible. And then, of course, she goes off and she commits suicide. And the second season, I don't remember a whole lot about what happened there. I do remember that there was another kid in there who was bullied, and he goes and, you know, gets a bunch of guns, and he had a plan to shoot up the school and kill all his classmates. And I think they stopped him like toward the end of it, you know, at a dance or whatever. But yeah. And now this season comes around, and that guy Bryce is dead. And I'm like, what the? He dead? And it's like a whole murder mystery. The way the trailers have, I would have had the trailer with, you know, a reaction to it, but you know, it's like a couple of days from dropping, or a day or so from dropping. There's no point in really doing that. Yeah. I thought that might be jumping the shark a tad bit. I don't know. It remains to be seen. Maybe it's good marketing on their part. I don't know. To me, I think it's giving away a huge plot outline, or a huge plot point, and that with this kid being killed and nobody knows who did it. You know, it's a murder mystery thing going on. And yeah, a lot of the kids, I mean, if not all of them, you know, within that circle, you know, that group of kids, they have their own reasons to off this guy. You know, he was not a nice guy. You know, he played like he was. You know, like a lot of people, there's probably like a dual side to their personality. He would seem like he was a chill dude with, like, you know, with his hanging out with his friends, you know, and like, oh yeah, bro, this, bro, that, you know. And come to find out, when he got drunk, he had a mean streak, you know. big plot point. I don't remember if it was season 1 or season 2. I think it's season 1, where he took one of his friend's girlfriend and he raped her too, while the dude was sitting outside the door. The dude didn't even try to bust down the door. He goes in there and the guy Bryce walks up to his buddy. He just basically pushes him out of the way and goes inside, and it hooks up with his girl. His girl is so drunk, she doesn't even know what's happening. And so, yeah, and the dude sits outside and cries. I don't know about you, but if that were me, I'd be busting down that door, and I'd probably throw that dude out the window. I don't care how big he was, or even if he could beat me. Yeah, I would at least gone, and done something, not just sat there and cried to myself like a little bitch. But hey, it is what it is. That's the way that they did the show. Yeah, but going into this, this kid is dead now. Somebody killed him again, and everybody's a suspect apparently. And it's kind of interesting. But the thing is, it kind of reminds me a little bit of the old show Dallas. The one from the 80s. There was a guy on there named, a character named J.R. Ewing, who got shot, and it was a cliffhanger from the previous season. I don't even know what season it was. It was so long ago, but yeah, the season ended with him getting shot, and people across America lost their freaking minds. They did. This is back in the 80s, by the way, and yeah, I'm showing my age, but hey, the guy got shot, and there were people that they had T-shirts. They were selling these at Walmart, by the way. It's in there, like, I shot JR, and that was a huge thing over that summer. I don't remember when it was, 83, 84, I don't know, maybe 85, I don't remember. But I do remember it being a big deal, and that's what this kind of reminds me of. It's the who killed Bryce thing. It's kind of, who shot JR. Yeah, that's what that reminds me of. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I figure me and the wife will binge watch that show. We did the other 2 seasons, so yeah, I'll probably do a review. Though I know a lot of YouTubers do movies and shows where you'll be able to watch it with them, and they'll give a review. I don't think I'm gonna do that. The way I understand it, Netflix is kind of about their stuff, and you get flagged for it, and me just starting out, I don't want to have the thing taken down before I get a chance to actually put it out there. So yeah, I'll just maybe do a quick review on it. I don't know. The other thing I want to talk about is another Netflix show, The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. I'm excited about the show. And the reason I'm excited about it is because I grew up with the movie, the original movie. Yeah, it was a long time before it came to Netflix, before I got to watch this again. And of course, naturally, when you see something as a kid and you think it's awesome, you're like, oh yeah, that was so great. It was so great. And then when you get older, and you kind of like, I can't believe I watched this and I like this. What the hell was I thinking? But hey, honestly, I don't feel that way about Dark Crystal. Some people may feel that way about it. I don't know. I've seen some other YouTubers that are younger, that watched it and were like, what was I watching? What the hell is this about? Honestly, it's probably a Jim Henson thing that's like tripped out on something. I don't know. But you gotta admit, the guy was a genius. And I loved the Muppets when I was younger. And I still kind of watch them every now and then when they come out. I can remember not just the Muppets, but some Sesame Street stuff. A lot of people do stuff with puppets. But even though Jim Henson wasn't involved in it, his partner Frank Oz did Yoda. Yeah, in Star Wars. And I've totally forgotten that he had something to do with Dark Crystal too, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, when I think of puppets, I think of Yoda. Yoda was like one of the characters that was just... I forgot that he was a puppet sometimes, he was so lifelike and so relatable, and it was funny. But yeah, at the end of the day, the dude's a puppet. You know, some dude sitting there crazy. But that's what this is all about. You know, this is Jim Henson's Creature Shop, or, you know, his studio. I saw I'm assuming it's his daughter was talking about it, you know, and I know his son was, Brian Henson was a guy that brought a lot of the Muppet movies that were released over the early 2000s. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. His legacy kind of lives on. That was his little dream with Dark Crystal. And the see characters, you know, come back to life, I guess you could say it, you know, for lack of a better word, or for lack of better phrasing. And, you know, and the cast is pretty solid. I know they got Simon Pegg in it, and a couple other people that I can't really think of right now. But yeah, it's a pretty solid cast. The only thing that kind of, I don't know, I'm not really saying worry me, but it's gonna, like, you know, kind of strange to me, is the fact that they've kind of changed some things in it. Like, for instance, like they've updated it a little bit. I know it's gonna be, I'm not even worried about the CGI part. You know, CGI is here to stay. It's not going away. Practical effects are, while they're not dead, they're not actually on their way out either. So I think maybe, I don't know, maybe it's going to be, well, it's going to be a mix of them. I know that. It's going to be a mix of puppetry along with CGI. And that's cool. That's fine. I like that. You know, as long as it looks good, as long as it's not completely out there ridiculous. But, you know, hey, I think it looks good. The only thing I saw, it's like the character Chamberlain. I think Simon Pegg does that. I don't know that that's true or not, but I thought I saw that, you know, Simon Pegg does his voice. And if you know the character, Chamberlain's the one that, you know, does a little whimper thing around all the time, you know. Dude's driving a car in the trailer. And I'm not even making it up. This dude's driving a car. This big car. It's like, when did they get cars? And why didn't we see them in the first one? You know, the puppets, you know, the little Gelfling things, they got in this thing called a Land Strider. It's like a really tall jackrabbit, you know, slash, you know, giraffe thing. And they got it and rode it across the land, you know, and they were supposed to be really fast. But they had cars the whole time. Why didn't they just drive? You know? I don't know. It's crazy. Lastly, I just want to say that while I'm doing all this, you know, I want to do a shout out to some of my friends, you know, say, hey, you know, I'm glad y'all encouraged me, and, you know, y'all, you know, watching out, you know, looking out for these videos to come out, and subscribing. You know, thank you very much. In the future, you know, I got some more stuff I want to talk about. I may go into more further depth, you know, more detail about the shows. Again, I'll probably come back and do a review of both Dark Crystal and 13 Reasons Why and something else. I don't know about, you know, watching something with y'all. I might do it. You know, if y'all want me to, I'll just do a review of movies or whatever. But that's not what the channel's always going to be about. You know, again, I talked about, you know, the whole MCU thing and Sony, which was a major headline for yesterday and today. I think, but most of the time I'm going to stay away from news events, you know. I think, for right now, I'm going to wrap things up and hope y'all come back by. I hope I didn't bore y'all too much. I think I got some things planned out that I want to do in the coming months, especially in the month of October. I thought about, you know, doing some reviews on some movies, you know, for Halloween. One year, I did a whole thing where I did like one scary movie per night, you know, and that was a lot of fun. Some of it was kind of, you know, I don't know. Some of them were kind of dumb. I'm not gonna lie, because, you know, after you get through the major stuff, you know, you got like Halloween, and you got like freaking Friday the 13th stuff, or maybe even Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, and some of those other movies, you know, that go on and on forever. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these movies are like decades old, and lot of y'all have grown up watching and knowing by heart, obviously, but some of y'all may not, I don't know. It just depends on what you want to see. Movies like the Conjuring universe, I don't know about that. That's a whole bunch of movies in the same universe, but I guess it could work. I don't know. I haven't seen all of them. I really haven't seen the Annabelle movies. I saw The Nun. I saw The Conjuring, Conjuring 2, and haven't seen La Llorona, if that's how you say it. I haven't seen that one. I saw like a little snippet of Annabelle Creation on HBO one night, and I was like, oh, well, I don't want to watch it from the end. I might as well just watch the whole thing and not watch it at all. But yeah, Halloween is my favorite time of year. Well, October, period, leads up to Halloween. I love just fall in general. You got cooler weather. And being in the South, man, cooler weather is something to rejoice about. It really is. Yeah, football. Yeah, football coming back in fall. All about that. Arkansas Razorbacks. Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot of y'all are gonna be like, oh yeah, they suck, whatever. I know, but hey, I'm an underdog at heart, and I gotta root for the underdog. Next thing, I like about the fall and October, of course, is Halloween. I like the fact that the seasons change. The rest of the holidays are right around the corner. Thanksgiving. Yeah, I like Thanksgiving. Then you got Christmas, New Year's. Those are always cool time. But also, I thought about for the month of Halloween, you can do like, if I got enough people subscribe, y'all can send me some, ghost stories, things that y'all experienced, just, weird stuff that just happened. I can possibly throw in a couple things. I've heard some good ones online, on YouTube and Reddit and stuff like that, and people have some freaky stuff that happens. My own experience, well, it's nothing like that. I mean, I think one experience I had was just, pretty cool. But I do know I got friends that have some really good stuff to talk about. So, but that's all in the future. And like I said, I'm just getting my foot in the door, and I'm just doing all this stuff to get this thing rolling. So hey, I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you like and hope you subscribe. I hope we can see you sometime soon, and I'll upload again. And for now, I'll catch y'all later. Have a good day, have a good afternoon, and have a good evening wherever you are or whatever you're doing. See you next time. Thanks.